Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
All right, race fans, here we go. Clean Racing League here tonight. We got Talladega. Big track in it here, and it's going to be a good one, as this one should send us into our chase here tonight. So, going to be an interesting race. We'll keep an eye on some points. Obviously, plate track race, and anything can happen. So, we got qualifying right now. Appreciate everybody out there tuning in. What you think, Caleb?
Yeah, I mean it's the last race before we start the playoffs, and if we're talking about dominance over the season, it's definitely been Lane Holsler. 4 wins on the season. He definitely has nothing to worry about going to this race. He's just having fun. Of course, he wants to win, but nothing to lose for the drivers. Lane Holsler, Joshua Altus, Jacob Grant, and Dustin Martin, who are all locked in on wins alone. But around the points cutoff, you got Evan Kinney -6, Eric Anderson -20, Chris Smith -24. These are all drivers that are trying to fight their way in, maybe with a win. Maybe we can find somebody that's -70 back that has no shot of getting points. They need a win, and they can lock themselves in knocking out a points driver. It's just one of those races.
Yeah, and I agree with you. And also, I talk about it a lot when it comes to plate racing. Qualifying to me at one of these, as Jacob Graham puts it out front, is more of a bragging right than anything here as we're getting set to grid them up. I mean, you can win from any place. The guys, they'll take strategies to go back to the back. Some like staying out front. We've seen wrecks everywhere here. I mean, it's kind of this is one of these lottery style races. You just don't know what's going to happen.
No, you absolutely don't. And I feel like I said it at Daytona. I always hated racing these tracks because it was 70 something laps of just hoping you don't get caught up in the wreck or just waiting for it to happen. And a lot of these guys here tonight need wins to potentially fight for a championship. There's 35 of them tonight. That's a lot of trucks. And now, of course, some of them uncharted cars, trucks, sorry. And most of them, didn't meet the requirements, race-wise or meet the races met, there's a race requirement. You have to race a certain amount of races to get to the playoffs. I think Jamie Horn is one of them. He would have locked himself in on points had he met the race requirement. Jamie Horn. He has 219 points, but is ineligible because he didn't meet I think it's 6 races that you have to run. But yeah, he's not 6. But he won. He won a race. I think he won. I think it was Pocono.
Oh.
So
I mean, he's locked in.
I mean, no, he still has to meet the race requirement. Sorry, I kind of got jumbled up on my words there.
So how many races does he have to have?
Let's see.
Because if this is the last one and he's not locked in, and that means he can't be locked in even after the night.
No, he's mathematically he can't. You have to race 6 races. This would be start number 5.
Okay, well, how many total races has he won?
This would be start number 5 for him. He would need one more race.
Was there an exception of why he missed the one race? I mean, there's got to be an exception to the rule somewhere. I mean, I don't know how Chris does that. I mean, had a family emergency or something like that. I mean, I don't know. I don't know the reason why he missed. That's what
I don't either.
Andrew, why did he miss? Andrew out there, you listening? Let us know.
I think it, and at the end of the day, I know it's going to sound terrible. I don't think it matters. I think it would have to be something drastic. You want to keep it fair for every driver. And, you don't...
Yeah, family emergency with domestic, man. Come on now.
Yeah, but, if you're missing a quarter of the regular season...
Let me ask that. The better get set to go. Is how many? We went how many races then? 10.
Yeah, this is 10. Okay. So this is start 5, I think. So he's missed half the regular season.
Yeah.
I mean,
Just hadn't paid attention, man, because I mean, I'm usually out there rooting for Jamie and whatnot. Hey, we'll have to see after this. Yep. Green flag, though. Talladega in the air. I can't stress it enough that this is just one of these wild card style races. And, you know, I've actually here lately have had quite a few broadcasts of plate races. And, you know, a track like this, even in real life, brings about first-time winners. Daytona Talladega is probably the #1 place for first-time winners. So, you know, with that said, we might see a first-time winner here tonight. We might see, like you said, one of those guys who need a win for the championship, win it. I'm at a loss on strategy of what to do here. I can tell you what I used to do, hang out in the back, and what would happen to me, Caleb, a lot of times, is I'd be in the back, and I'd be minding my own business, and the draft seems to, the next thing I know, I'd be in the middle of the pack. Somehow, the draft would just instantly pull me to the front. I didn't want to be there, but it just ended up there somehow, you know, and I'm like, really? This is just danger zone.
Yeah, and strategy-wise, a lot of these drivers have big 3, 4, 5 car teams. You know, you got High Five Racing, S&B Motorsports, Long Shot, Thunder Snow. You know, you have these big teams that are going to want to stick together. If they get, if you have a straggler, then their race is, you know, I wouldn't say ruined. You know, we've come back from that before when I was racing, and you know, you have to play it smart. You know, you can't overcook it when going down pit road. You have to be perfect. If not
definitely
perfect,
won't help too on pit road. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, people, you see people going on pit road coming off turn 4, or, you know, starting to get down there, and they are taking it easy. Don't take it easy. You gotta get every single tenth of a second, because that could make you lose the draft. So, you know, you're not gonna see these drivers taking tires. You're not going to see, maybe under caution they'll take tires, but you're definitely not going to see them take tires under green.
2 tires maybe if you got to take enough fuel, but 4 tires, you're right. Yeah, that's just not going to be the norm here. Tires is not the biggest issue at a track like this. We see them side by side locked up though at the front. High side trying to get some momentum. Coming here into turn number 1, we're completing laps. You got Bryson Clark out front. Honeycutt's going to try to see if he can't take it. He drops to the inside. You got Tatum up there, Grant, Boozler and company. Man, they are just dicing around, seeing who's got what. It's all the big field out there. Looks like a second pack formed in the back here. That's old Brian Ellis. So the top 19 all in a pack. Then you got Evan Kinney. Actually, you got to go a little further back. Excuse me here. You got to go back to Chris Smith, who's got Justin Tuck and company, and kind of a second pack happening. You see, they're there. Don't want to get too far off there. Then you lose that draft. I know you want to get back there and just ride around, but you still want to be hooked up to the tail end of that pack up front.
Absolutely. Yeah, and, you know, this happens pretty early on. You know, you see some drivers fall back, you know, because they're expecting the big one early, especially after last week. I know tensions are still kind of high after the, you know, atrocity we've seen at
it was a little shorter track too, though.
Yeah, but you know, sometimes that carries over, and you know,
yeah,
I think, you know, some of these guys, I do think they lost the draft, and that's why they're back there. Because when you're laying back, you're not laying back, you know, that far back. You know, they're catching them.
He's catching them now. Yeah, he's maybe able to catch it tail end. So.
Yeah, but you know, you don't want to fall. You don't want to fall so far back to where you lose it, and then you just see him right off into the sunset. You know, albeit we're still, you know, 70 laps away from seeing the end of this race.
Tyler Pursley's out of this race too, or he's on pit road. What happened to him? In the pits early for some reason. I can. Actually, he went back on the. Went back to when he jumped on pit road, and it actually was camera went off of him, so I don't know if he had a connection issue or what. Just now getting back on, but I know he was. But the reason I bring that up is he was one of the guys trying to get into the chase here.
Yeah, he's on the cut line, I believe. Let me just go ahead and pull up the point standings real quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is
Right now, trouble.
Yeah, big trouble for the 00 of Tyler Pursley, who is 35th, last place. He is +6. I don't think he's +6 anymore. He was 10th place, last in the playoff picture, +6.
Yeah.
Evan Kinney is. Let's see where Evan Kinney is.
Evan right now is in 20th, so about
20th.
all the 15 spots ahead.
Yeah, so that's definitely going to bump Evan in front. And then you have Eric Anderson, who is 20 points back, who is sitting 13th.
So yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, it's early. It's early on here. We are talking about this stuff. I mean, obviously it's plate racing. Anything could change. It's early on here. We talk about the draft. We talk about what they're doing up front. I like what they're doing right now because I say it's more patient style drafting, textbook, out of hood, half a hood, car length off each other. No need to get up there and put your nose, bump draft in the turn, try over. That's usually where trouble happens. So, yeah, I mean, those guys are having good runs right now. They just got to keep it up.
Yeah, and right now an unchartered truck of the 89 Bryson Clark. A fairly new name in the Clean Racing Truck Series. He's got Lane Holzler behind him, getting a little wiggly off of turn 4 there, and then Tyler Honeycutt, who had I would say a pretty good recovery last week. Still
Yes,
not
he
the
did.
best of luck. He's still looking for that first win. It's kind of eluded him this season. He's always had quick trucks, and then kind of gets caught up in something. He's got his teammate Jacob Grant behind him in the 6 truck. They've worked together all season. They raced in another league together, so they definitely have experience working with each other. So there's a third lane forming on the outside there.
I see that.
This track can do 4 wide. I'm not saying they should, but I don't think. I think 3 wide is going to be very
A little
manageable.
early for 3. I mean, I'll go with you on that one. A little early for 3. I mean, you can test the waters up there and see how it's going to work. If the outside lane's not going like you want, maybe jump up there and see and say, okay, let's start along and see if we're going to get a push and maybe something I can use for later on in this race, because the bottom lane's just not hooked up, and that's definitely not what you want as drafting. I mean, there's a lot of gaps in between those trucks right there. I mean, it's early, no harm, no foul right now. You definitely at the later stages of the race, you don't want that. You don't want that much gap.
No, not at all. And we were riding on 4 with Bradley Murphy there. Hasn't had the best of luck this season either. He is currently sitting 47 back from the cut line. He is going to need a win to get in tonight. To get to the playoffs. It's just mathematically not possible for him to get in with what's going on here.
Now, Tyler Honeycutt, we were just talking about him. He was up front a minute ago. Now he's back here in the back. So he might be taking that, hey, look, I want to get out of that pack up there and just ride for a little bit. How close is he? He's in the playoffs, right?
Tyler Honeycutt, yes, he is.
Okay.
After last week's recovery drive from him, he's +12 on the cut line.
Well, the reason I bring that up is because you said something earlier, being winless. You always want to win. Hey, who doesn't? But here's the thing: if you can make that playoffs, then it's like a whole new season for you at that point.
Yeah, and that's that's always the goal, especially in leagues like this where a lot of leagues have transitioned to playoffs now. They do the NASCAR style playoff system, the round based Before a few seasons back when Fred was the owner of the league, it was just straight points. Whoever had the most points at the end of the season was the champion.
Right.
Some people like that better than they like the round system. However, the round system, I would say it gives people something to work towards. Because, when I was racing...
The only part I don't like about it, I'm sorry, the only part I don't like about it is the win you're in part. I wish they would go off points to get you into the championship. The win you're in, because then you're like Lane Hoosler, let's use that for example, who has dominated, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
But at this point, here's the thing. He's had some bad races. So let's say he's only won one race, which would have got him in the chase. Okay, for the rest of the season, wow, look, hey, if I had bad races, who cares? I'm in the chase. I know that's not his mentality, but yet that's kind of how it is. So if you win early in the season, you really don't have, what's the word I'm trying to say, is incentive to go week to week. You want to as a driver because you're competitive, yes. But if you have a bad race, it's like, well, okay, I'm still in the chase. So the win you're in part, I don't know. I do like the chase format. The win you're in, no, because I feel like sometimes now we obviously like tonight, yeah, you're in desperation mode. You haven't won, I got to do it. But like Lane, it's fun for him tonight. Hey, look, if I wreck, I wreck. I don't want to, sure, but I got nothing to lose. That's kind of how I see it.
Yeah, and like I think the drivers this season, the drivers that have won, like Holsler, Joshua Altus, Jacob Grant, Dustin Martin, they definitely have, they definitely have been consistent to where if they wouldn't fall out, as kind of like this a one-off. But I do think there should be, if you win, you have to be top 20 in points, or up. That win doesn't matter. Kind of like Pro Series does.
Yes.
However, we are seeing, I would say, we're seeing movement, but they're just kind of two by two at the moment.
Yes.
I would say I was looking. Timothy says, "Are we going to talk about?"
Yeah, that's all I might add. I mean, well, Tim, hey, look, it's the last race of the season. We're talking about the championship. I mean, as far as when you go to track races, I could sit up here and do play-by-play all day long. I mean, you see what's going on the track right now, and they have just jockeyed around the position up there, tried the top side. Clark's had it, Moore's had it. Everybody's just being patient at this point. Lane Hoosler's in the same spot. Crank Bell sitting in fourth. Garner's there in fifth. You got Dustin in sixth. The thing about plate track races is you're going to swap positions so many times. It's not like your normal race where you're going to see a guy, man, here he comes from fifth place on back. They're side by side, tooth to nail, door to door, heading off down the back stretch for the moment. Nose to tail. Clark's out front. Hoosler's pushing him hard to the outside. It's playoff time here, and guys out there that really need a win are the guys at the cutoff, and that's what we're trying to get to the information out there too. I mean, Clark, he just wants to win. Hoosler wants to win. Moyer, he just wants to win. But there are some guys out here in this field that need a win to get in a playoff style.
Yeah, right now, I think they're perfectly fine with running where they're running.
Yes.
However, the 89 and the 74, the two leaders out front, the longer they stay out there, they're burning more fuel because they are practically punching the hole in the air for everyone behind them. So they are having to go way harder than everyone else because everyone else behind them is running 75, 60% throttle. These guys behind aren't running full throttle.
Absolutely not. Nope.
That's something that's always kind of interesting when we come here. Everyone, people that don't understand the style of racing, they think everyone's running full throttle this entire time, when that's not the case at all. That's how you cause wrecks here, because you're just hammering the people in front of you. You have to play with the throttle. You have to, manage. You have to manage your whole race, because one wrong mistake, that's the whole field, And then now we got a 3-car race. So
we do. Yeah. I mean, right now the guys are being really patient up front. I mean, there's no need to push and shove, no need to get up there and try to do anything in the turns. I call it textbook style draft and so forth. I see Tim, man, Wayne out. Chapman out there is doing good. He's the third. He's right there in 5th place spot. He's being patient. He's just hanging on to that. I mean, not a lot going on right now. Give it about 10 to go. Forget about it. You got to be able to put up there with your teammates and who you got, who you want to see, man, going to the front. But you've got a big pack. You talk about Jamie Horn. This is the second pack right here. This actually is a pack with Fred, but they're 9 seconds off. They have fallen off the pace huge back here, but they're all single file just ride. It starts with, and Jacob Grant, who was up front, 23 positions is what he has fallen back. So you might think to yourself, why in the world would he do that? Now he's 10 seconds back, lost a draft. That's by design and strategy. We just talked about Tyler Honeycutt. Same thing. He's back there in that second pack along with it. So those are top 2 guys who were up front early in the race have fallen back. On the flip side of that coin, Paul Turner up to 9th place right now, 23 positions up. He's probably one of them. Look, I want to be up front more than anything. Bradley Murphy, we were just talking about him, up 21 positions. So you've got guys with different strategies. As you see this pack right now, I mean, you got about, 6-7 cars up high and a freight train sitting on the down low. You've got guys, man, who are definitely there. In this race that have got different strategies there, Caleb, and that's some like that. Some like being in the back. But we go back to what we were talking about earlier with Jacob Grant and all. Is this the danger zone, though, that they're losing draft right now? It is good that they're in a form of a line because they're not going to lose time-wise, but their last lap was 53 seconds to 51 in that pack. That's another thing, Brooke. Let me bring that up, and I know they're over there wanting us to talk about drivers, but I got to bring this up, and I bring it up every time as you see these guys back here racing hard. I bring this up every time I talk about plate races. I don't feel like iRacing has got the draft package 100%. We saw those guys single file back here. They should be running fast, as opposed to this pack up here that are side by side. But yet this pack up here is 2 seconds faster than one that is running a single file freight train. In real life, the single file freight train would run down side by side. I've seen this numerous times. I know the side drafting is great here. I know the dirty air is great on iRacing, but I still feel, just by watching many plate races, that there's something off with the draft package when it comes to once you lose it and get so far back.
I don't know about recent updates that iRacing has made towards the draft package and all that. I know they had a truck update and they updated the models and everything, and
right,
the aerodynamics and all that. However, I think a big part of it has to do with the drivers themselves. I'm not throwing shots, but what I'm getting at is you need to line your drivers up in a line to where everyone is comfortable. If you're not comfortable, you're going to lose time. Like I'm a pusher. I cannot lead the field.
Yeah,
I've won a bunch of these races before in leagues. But it was all about positioning myself when the checkered flag came out. During the race, I always wanted to be behind somebody, and I was going to push you the best I could, because I knew if I could get you out there, it was going to get me out there. So, I think we're seeing a lot of moving and a lot of slotting around, but we're not seeing a lot of gaining. So we're seeing a lot of movement, but they're losing time. Like you said earlier, that could be by design. but I feel like they've fallen too far off to where it can't be.
Yeah.
You know?
Ooh, look at this 4 wide up there. This is where it gets a little dicey. Turner and company there. I'm gonna tell you what, that looks like they were just trying to get in a little position up there. You see Wayne coming to the high side. Crank Bell's hanging on to the front right now. Murphy's pushing him. They're testing that waters on that high side. It's just not been able to get going. You're definitely going to need more than 2 trucks. At 99 and 3 up there, it's going to need the help from the 00. Get up on the back end.
Yeah, and
Well, what do you think we are talking about there, Kentucky? I mean,
so they're pitting.
yeah, we're pitting. I mean, I don't mean to sound harsh up here in the booth, but when somebody comes up with that and says, "Let's talk about the race," I'm not talking about playing.
So as it
That was
sits
fun.
right now, we had a bunch of drivers pit right there, and we seen a lockup by the 18 of Bradley Murphy.
Yeah,
Wayne Chapman stayed out.
but that's what you need. You need help on pit road.
Yeah, and we seen another truck stay with Chapman there.
Yep.
And there's Lane Holsler, and all these drivers come out, but you see these big gaps that are being made right here.
Oh, we got 18
we got
in
one
the back there. That's Bradley Murphy, and that's not going to hit well with him because unless he can get hooked up with somebody, he's going to be long hauling it out there, and that's something you don't want to have happen here at Talladega, being all alone, losing the draft. Wow. Huge mistake coming out of pit road. Bradley Murphy, you were talking about him earlier, but you know what's kind of wild? A lot of 12-second pit stops. Actually, Jeremy Moyer, lucky there. Looks like he might have did a 4-tire pit stop. Not sure why with a 16-second. Jordan Trax with a 14-second. Another one. Luckily, they were able to come out with still help. Still more pit stops than pretty much the rest of the field. So looks like pit stops here. Lap 26 is where they can go. As you see the next huge pack of machines coming on, and now the leaders, Joshua Altus, Matthew Dyer. Looks like those two are going to work together coming on pit road. That puts Crank Bell. That'll cycle him back to the front, along with Dusty Martin, Lane Hoosler. All those guys are able to get back out on the front, and everybody get right back there and go.
One thing I will say, Dusty, and I'm not gonna say it's purely luck because he's got to be there somehow, but Dusty won the Clash at Daytona. It wasn't broadcast. It was just kind of it set the field for our Daytona race. As you see Matthew Dyer and Josh Wallace leaving the pits, but he also won our opening race in the same fashion he won. Which was, a wreck happened in front, and he ended up winning. Could it happen again?
Yeah.
He could be a 2-time regular season winner here in his first season. Obviously the regular season championship is all Lane Hoosler. There's no catching him. I think he's at like 670 points.
He's running right now in third place.
Yeah.
Now, the one thing about it is green flag pit stop splits the field up here a little bit. We get Justin Carey about a second back from Lane Hoosler, but it looks like he's going to catch that draft here as he's got that second back. Then you got Paul Turner back here in 9th place spot. He's about a second and a half back from Nathan Brown. Let's see, the next pack that you'd have is right about 16th place spot where you've got Ross Tatum, who's 3.5, 4 seconds back. And then Jeremy Weimer, he's 21 seconds back, along with Jamie Horn there with him. Bradley Murphy, remember we was talking about earlier? Man, he's all alone. Not bad, but he's 7/10 back from Horn. I don't know if he's going to hook up to the back end. He's 4 seconds off here from Jacob Grant Company with Tyler Honeycutt. So one of the biggest things to come out of this with green flag stops is everybody gets split up, and Joe spun, I think, trying to get on pit road. See what happened to him here on the replay.
Joe Spinelli spins it coming
We're
to
gonna
pit
have
road.
to,
I don't.
go a little one further on back here.
Oh no,
It
he's
was
slow
stuck.
in the
It
apron.
was slow. He run out of gas.
You
Go
know
on
that's a
board with him.
possibility.
Oh, he's still under
Yeah.
power.
Yeah, look, he's got the clutch in right there. He's trying.
That's one thing you don't want to do here at Talladega is run at it. Yep, it just cut off. Doom. Yep, he's out of fuel.
Yeah,
Wow.
he's trying to cycle some of it back into the tank. Unfortunately, it's not that realistic. But you know.
Oh. Well, now we got a big pack racing back up front. Lane Oozler out here with Crank Bell. What a name, Crank Bell. Well, I'll tell you what, that's a wild one there. Wayne Chapman, he's hanging on the third. You got Dusty Martin right there sitting in the fourth place. Paul Turner. So now we got a big pack here running. Again, it's still too early. The guys are just going to be patient. There's no need to get up here and push and shove. Yeah, they're going to try to form that outside lane and see if they can't come to the front. But a multitude of strategies right now. My thing is what do you do strategy-wise if you're right here with Ellis 6 seconds back? At this point, you've got to hope for a caution because green flag stops are not going to help you.
No, and that's too big of a gap, and there's not that many trucks in that lane. You know, I don't think we're going to see a caution anytime soon. You know, knock on wood.
Don't jinx.
But you know,
Jinx.
yeah, I'm trying not to. I'm not, you know, we're trying not to have a repeat here. We want to see everyone see the checkered flag. But yeah, I mean, you know, we've had a bunch of cars, you know, kind of break off. You know, there's Jamie Horn.
Yeah,
James
it's so
Horn and
split
Jeffrey
up right
Rimmer.
now. I mean, you've got this big pack up front here that extends all the way back here to 15th place spot with Joshua Altus. And then Brian Ellis is the one who would be 7 seconds back in the second pack in 16th here, running in a file with Ross Tatum, Evan Kinney. Remember, Evan Kinney, he's battling to get into this championship. Tyler Pursley is still sitting in 34th position. You know, so he's going to need some help to get back on the lead laps here tonight. You know, that's the story for the night is championship things. I mean, now I got to ask, we talked earlier, Tyler Honeycutt. I know he was close on the cutoff there last week. You said it helped him, but he's in 25th right now. Does that hurt him?
Yes and no. I mean, he's 19. He's 19 places back from where he started. However, you know, the person that he was on the cutoff with, Tyler Pursley, you know, he's in 34th right now.
Yes.
Pursley is going to need to see a miracle.
A miracle.
He's going to need to see something very drastic happen in this race, to kind of get it to turn around.
Yeah. I mean, unfortunately, I'm not quite sure what happened to him early on in the race there that got Tyler Pursley behind the 8 ball. But, you know, definitely, you know, pulling it up. And you're right out to Kentucky. I mean, these guys are just going to have to stay in line, tucked up, if they want to have any shot. Like this line here, they're a little bit too spread out. That's that second pack that we were talking about there with Brian Ellis, Tatum, and company. They're a little bit too they're not formed up. They need to be, you know, not tucked up on each other's bumper, but they need to be a lot closer than what they are now if they want to have a shot. But again, they're not too much off the pace. I go back to this big pack, but now you can see this whole big pack up here. Look at them. They're in a freight train. There's not side by side. They're not 2 by 2. As long as they stay right there, Brian Ellis and company in the back are going to have a hard time catching them. This right here is just right along. You know, as Lane Hoozle out front leading it. This is just kind of right along here, Caleb. patient style racing. It's good to see. Maybe some of those nerves from last week will have come over, and Talladega and Daytona are not, well, when I say this, not too easy of a track to survive sometimes because you get caught up in the big one.
Yeah, and so I think a lot of these drivers have, especially in the back of their head, they realize that if they want to have a shot at a championship, they need to see the checkered flag.
Yes.
And if we got fuel on the apron there, they get back up. Okay, that's another thing. I'm seeing a lot of bouncing back and forth in the line. That was always like one of my like pet peeves when I was like racing these tracks, because I was.
That's a draft skill, I think, too.
Yeah.
I don't want to take anything away from drivers now. I mean, I know they're going to hear that and go, Joe, what are you talking about? But yeah, I'm with you on that one.
Look,
I wasn't very good at it, by the way, so.
I did this for let's see, 2017 to this year is when I stopped. So like I have plenty of experience on the plate tracks. I did a lot of them. One of my biggest pet peeves was when the car in front would bounce around, and I know they're only reacting to the car in front of them, and it just causes like this snake movement, and it causes checkups, it causes wrecks to happen. I know everyone runs different force feedback, and especially because this part right here, there's a bump right there, and it shoots the car up. Kind of see it right there.
I will say they're pretty straight right now. I mean, I'll give them credit on that one. I have seen worse. I know what you're talking about. I've seen worse. Though.
Yeah, and it's I don't know. I guess it looks worse. When you're driving in car, you can't really see what's going on. So many cars ahead, and
like that right there. Yep.
Yeah, like you can't tell what's going on in front of Eric Anderson right there. However, you see it was kind of a big checkup. You kind of caught him a little quick right there, but you can't really see what's going on. But from the broadcast perspective, like what we're seeing from the aerial view or from the wall, you see him dicing and bouncing off the yellow line, coming back, and I understand everyone runs different force feedback. I like my force feedback super high up, to where like it would yank the steering wheel out of my hand. I know some people don't race with force feedback that high, so everyone has a different preference in what they're doing. Just as long as they're not wrecking each other. Oh, big blink by Dusty Martin.
Yeah, Lane's still, holding on to the front side here. I mean, he can control this field as long as he needs. Frank Bell right there with him, and Martin Turner. You got Chapman, Carey, Clark, Eric Anderson, who has done an outstanding job there, sitting in the 8th. Garner up in the 9th, and then around the top 10, you got Becker. But actually, this whole pack goes all the way back to 15th with Joshua Altus right there in the 15th, and it's still 9 seconds back to Brian Ellis, who has been caught by that second pack. So that's going to help him out. Remember, he was kind of, all along out there for a little bit. And Ross Tatum and company's there with him. You got Evan Kinney, who is just trying to battle his way into the playoffs here tonight. Kyle Payne's there. Then you got Jordan Brockle, 20th. And then it goes back, Bradley Murphy was the one who was way off the pace. But he goes way back here to 21st to him with Tyler Honeycutt. You got Jamie Horn. You got some pretty heavy hitter names back here in this one. You got Jeffrey Wimmer there in 24, Jacob Grant hanging on to 25th, Bob Stevens, he's right there in 26th, and then about 16 seconds back, you've got another pack, which is Jason Kratz, who is back here with Bryant Newenham. I said it right, sitting in 28th. Chris Smith back in the 29th. Who's about 2 seconds off on the pace here. Actually, he is not a lap down, is he? Yeah, he is. Actually, he's the first one to be a lap down. Chris Smith would be. Right, 29th. He's up on that front pack there.
I see a comment. Jordan Trask is still in it. He is in 11th.
Trask. See where he's at right there he is. The Canadian.
What?
He's the only Canadian out here. All right. No, wait a minute. My bad. Fred's a Canadian.
One thing I will say, before we get off the topic of, them weaving in and out, sometimes when you're running super close to the truck in front, your oil temps and your water temps, your pressures start to go up.
Yes.
And you'll see these cars start to duck out a little bit to get some air.
Should be an issue right now with the way they're drafting, though.
Yeah, but especially the cars in the back that are running close together to try to catch them. They're running bumper to
That right there.
Tyler, yeah, that'll get you blowing up in a heartbeat. Especially if he doesn't pump out, like he's doing. The only thing is he doesn't need the 17 to follow him when he's trying to get air. The 17 follows him. That's he's just gonna fall off. However, while we are at a slow point, let's go ahead and bring up the sponsor of the league, Sports Academy Youth Flag Football League. It is on 2 of the trucks, I believe.
Main
tonight.
man right there.
Yep, got Abram.
And the reason I bring that up is because he actually does, I think, coaches some of that. He said it before. Coaches flag football. So it's good to see Ghost back there. He missed last week, but good to see him here.
Yeah, and he's not
Chris has got it too, doesn't he? He's got it on the side.
And if you want to check out Sports Academy at all, if you go to sportsacademy.us/programs, you can see the Flag Football League section and all of that, and all their other programs that are on the website. Be sure to check them out. They do wonders for the league, and have helped the league grow, allowing us to do more things. Like this season, we were able to do driver payouts. I know the winner of certain races get payouts. If you're a chartered driver, unchartered driver.
Another thing is new chartered drivers. We do too, Brandon. Like the sponsor, Brent.
And I think the because I don't know what's going on next season. I don't think I'm allowed to talk about it. But I will say that if everyone comes back and now they know how the charter system works, I think you're going to see a lot more drivers fighting over the charters compared to this year or this season. This year it was a lot of questions.
We're going to see some virtual fights, man, break out on the track.
It can't be any worse than last week.
How do you go about sponsorship? Well, Kentucky, I would get a hold of this man right here because he is the main guy, Chris Smith, right there in the number 5. So I'll definitely get a hold of him. He's the owner of the league here at Clean Racing League. Definitely check him out at cleanracingleague.com. That's actually where you would be able to find information to contact him and so forth. You see it right there on the top part of the hood. Cleanracingleague.com. I would first go there, message that man, Chris Smith. If you're interested in sponsor, it's always good to have, guys that maybe want to sponsor the league. Because I'll be honest with you, and not to get away with what Kayla was talking about. It's in the name. I say it week to week. Clean Racing. Are they tracks that breed cautions? Absolutely. Are they tracks that are going to give problems? Absolutely. I don't care how good you are or anything. We talk about the Pro Series. Man, you see some of them guys, they're a mess out there sometimes. Yeah. Sometimes they have good races. But all in all, this league produces some of the great racing. They've got some great programs like you talk about the charter. They talk about their teams, and they talk about the racing out here. You can see it right here. We've got tonight's the last one before the chase. Lane Hoosler out front leading it has dominated the series so far. As far as, he's going to win the regular season championship. He's going into the playoffs as probably one of the lead guys. But it's not a given that he's going to win that championship. So we'll have to see how that plays out as time goes on. But definitely check out cleanracingleague.com, and that'll get you up to speed, all of it. DES Racing League, Josh Tracks, and extra horsepower. He gives extra horsepower. Well, I always see guys out there with the OSR Network symbol on them, too, gives them extra horsepower. Although I need to give Chris a bigger one because it ain't helped him.
No,
I like Chris, by the way, man.
it definitely hasn't. But I mean, if you look back there, he's got Abram behind him. He's got Joshua. He's got Joshua in front of him. I mean, some big name drivers. But that's just this style of racing.
Murphy on pit
Bradley
road.
Murphy.
Oof, that's not. Now that's something you don't want to have happen, is come on pit road by yourself. True, he might come out and get hooked up to the back of the pack, but he's going to be so far off pace here that's going to be wild. We talked about pit stops. You might as well take 2 tires because you got to take full tank of fuel anyways. You don't usually see 4 tires, but they did it. Why?
I don't think his race. I don't think he's really racing anymore. And I know that sounds really.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I understand.
Yeah. So,
kind of lost some spirit, thinking, man, it's going to be. And again, I go back to Clean Racing League. I'm not saying we won't see a lot of cautions, but right now we're sitting at lap 48 of 75. We're getting to almost, we're well past halfway. So we're getting about a quarter left on this race here. Usually at this point is now you see the big pack coming in here for pit stops. But usually at this point, yes, you get down towards the end of the race, you will start. Folks going crazy behind me. They're getting excited for the race. You will, once you get to the end, there is that big chance for the big one. And I always say, or a lot of people always say, it's not if, it's when the big one will happen. Hopefully we won't see it tonight. Not saying they can't go flag to flag, but there again, you never know.
Yeah, I mean, we've had it happen before in the league, going flag to flag, and you would be amazed. Yeah. I guess the commentators curse. A lot of them. Oh wow, evasive move. From the truck on the inside trying to pit there.
Tracks. Trass, my bad. I said tracks. But
varying speeds. And this I guess this goes back to, we talked about it all season. Varying skill levels. This league promotes clean racing. It doesn't. They don't care if you're, winning 4 races a season or, running 30th every race. They don't care. As long as you are a clean driver and treat everyone with respect, you're welcome. However,
leaders coming on pit road.
You got Wayne Chapman there, Nathan Brown. Haven't really talked a lot about Nathan Brown tonight, have we?
Oh, he's been kind of quiet up there with that pack, so we'll see how he comes out of this pit stop. But, to go back to work there real quick, what you're saying with the promoting and clean racing, Lane Hoosler, hey, we go from one scale to the other when it comes to, the championship is your ultimate goal. That's what you want to win. Sure, you want to come in and win races. It's great to win races. But you want to get in that chase so you can win a championship, which is what our big focus is here tonight, is because it's the last race before the chase does start. And some drivers are right there on that cutoff line. As opposed to, you've got guys out here like Lane Hoosler, who has just won about everything there is here to win and has dominated the season. But on that flip side, we were talking about one of the guys here right now. He's coming on pit road, Tyler Honeycutt, who has not won this season, but yet can make that chase And then it's a whole different ball game because he's going to be on then. Guess what? A level playing field to that man who has dominated wins-wise, Lane Hoosler. They'll both be running for a championship. So I go back to what you emphasized there, Caleb, clean racing. And sometimes, to win championships, it's all about being consistent. You can win many races and still not win a championship.
No.
Ooh, little
no.
contact there almost.
And I guess what you just said, we can look back at last season. Lane Hoosler, Rob Sherwood, both won 3 races. Both of them lost the championship in the final race to Joshua Alford, who is now a 2-time champion in the league. Also going back to what you were saying about the even playing field. Tyler Honeycutt, if he makes the playoffs tonight, he will be in there. But the race winners who have locked themselves in, I've said their names, but I'll say them again: Lane Hoosler, Joshua Altus, Dusty Martin, Jacob Grant, and if we get another winner tonight that is in, that locks themselves in, they all get bonus points going into the first round. They get bonus points per win. I don't necessarily know the number off the top of my head, but they get bonus points that will help propel them further to get into the next round.
It does. I've watched it unfold, and we've seen it unfold again. You would think. My bet last season, and we brought that up there, Lane Hoosler. Because he dominated a lot, and he was there. And it looks like now he's going to take this and say, you know what? I've had fun up front. I've tested what my truck's going to do. I'm going to drop back here for a little bit. That's the strategy play that some guys do here on plate track racing. We'll see what he does in traffic back here a little bit. But like you said, Lane coming down here, and a guy we are missing tonight is Rob Sherwood. We'll see.
Yeah, I know him and Joshua Altus. They had went to the Kansas race over the weekend, so they had both kind of had a very long weekend. I'm honestly surprised Joshua Altus is here.
Who hasn't pitted yet? Some of the guys on the lap down have not pitted yet. Tyler Persley pitted lap 39. However you say his name. Lap 30. Stephen Tuck at lap 30. And unfortunately, Fred, I believe, is out of the race here. He pitted at lap 23. Pretty much everybody has pitted from 50 to 47. The least guy, I don't mean to catch you there a minute, Caleb. The least guy, we've got a couple that pitted at lap 47. And Bradley Murphy was pretty much the first one that pitted at lap 46. Everybody pitted at lap 50 on. So at 50 on, and then you had 2 guys pitted at lap 52 as we got a truck going. Who was that? Man, he came back up the track. Who was that? 99 or 89?
Yeah,
the 99.
We had it was the 3 and the 99. Who's the 99?
That's a lap down. Oh, wait a minute. A lap down truck. Yep.
I've lost my telemetry. Hang on.
Yeah, it was a lap down truck. He's way back here in 24th spot. But yeah, just kind of got pushed off the track. Unfortunately, that wasn't a big one. Could have came back up. But I hope that helps you out there, Kentucky, as far as pit stop wise goes. Everybody's pretty much made it. And from what we've seen so far tonight, everybody can go the distance. Now, with that said, guys that pitted at 48 and 52 might be close if green-white checkers fly. The 52 guys, Matthew Dyer and company, I believe they're okay. Joshua Altus might be okay. So I think green-white checker might throw a hiccup in here if we have a couple. So that might be something to be interesting and see. But then again, caution come in, everybody's going to come in the pits. If a caution flies, I think everybody's pretty much going to come in.
Yeah, and we almost seen one right there. The 99 flat car. very, very aggressive move. Jason Kratz moving down in front of the 3 of Wayne Chapman.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, he's seen a half car length gap and tried to put his whole truck in there. So, albeit he fitted in there, I don't think the 3 was going to let that slide. You know, I'm happy that we all saved it, and you know, we're still going green. But I feel like Wayne Chapman kind of has something to prove here. You know, he's an uncharted truck. He's an uncharted
and this
truck.
is a race to get it done too.
Yeah, you know, and he's an uncharted truck. He can't race for the championship. I don't think.
But he could, but he could, you know, winning. I mean, yeah, we talked about that earlier there, Caleb. I mean, sure, tonight we're talking about more or less the points, but you know, some of these guys, like you said, want to win. And man, look at this, man, Joshua Altus, he's trailing that thing up front with Matthew Dyer. I think they're the two that you need to watch out for, because with them pitting at lap 52, they definitely got the fuel to make it. I still feel like everybody's going to pit if a caution flies.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, you know, just honestly, it would be do the opposite of whatever the leader does at that point.
Yes.
You know, the leader pits, stay out. You know, but going back to Chapman real quick, you know, because he's an uncharted car, he can't race for the championship. He can win the race, make a statement. Because there was a race, I think it was 3 races ago, he did not make the race. It was the race, I think it was New Hampshire, the one that we did not broadcast.
Right.
He did not make the race. His qualifying time was too slow, and he got knocked out. Because the way the league works, only 10 uncharted cars
Kind of how real NASCAR is.
Yeah, so there was 13 that showed up. He was one of the 3 that got knocked out, which is unfortunate, but that's the position that he's in. So, you know, it would be nice, and I'm sure it would be a relief for him to get that truck into victory lane and kind of redeem himself from a track that he said that he had put time into and practice. You know, so because you know these uncharted trucks, there's no guarantee.
Now I gotta ask a question, and maybe somebody out there in the chat can answer. But how do you practice for a plate race unless you have somebody practicing with you?
Oh no, I'm not saying like he practiced.
That's a good question, man. I mean, I'm curious. I mean, how would you, unless it's an open setup and you're just doing your setup, I can see that, but these are fixed. Unless you have a team, like, you know, we go back to like Joshua Altus and Rob Sherwood, and y'all are teaming and trying to do this pit strategy and stuff like that, I could see it, but I don't know, does Wayne have a team? He by himself or what?
I actually don't know if he's on a team.
No, he's down there by himself.
But the whole practicing on a plate track, you know, when I was, you know, racing for High Five Racing and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, excuse me. When I was racing for High Five Racing, we would set up sessions and we would practice leading.
But that as a team.
Pushing. Yeah. But I wasn't saying that he was practicing Talladega. I was talking about the race he got knocked out in New Hampshire. Like he was practicing.
Okay. I thought you meant here, and I'm like,
oh no.
I was curious. I mean, I'm not trying to poke fun or anything. Or, I mean, I was honestly curious. And you're right out there. It's just, draft would be about the only thing. But I do see Chapman, unfortunately, because he did make a comment. The reason I bring that up, he did make a thing. Is anybody that has a team that wants to join him? He is by himself. So, hey, ding ding, any team leaders out there that might be looking for a guy, there you go. He's a free agent, and you know, I'll go out on a limb and say here, from what I've seen and performance wise, why wouldn't I want a guy like that on my team? You know?
Yeah, and you know, Sometimes, you'll find the best people that just don't have a team. That's how we found some of our drivers at High Five Racing, and
Yeah.
that's you'll bring them in, and they can either be really good drivers, and we can mesh very well together, or sometimes you'll get drivers that just they're not meant for a team.
Right.
Does that make sense? I know it sounds
Well,
very
I was
harsh.
about to say that too. That there again, on the flip side of that, they are like what you just said. There are some guys who just prefer not to be on a team. Is it beneficial here? Yes, on a plate track. Do you absolutely have to have it? No. Does it help? Sure, because you can bounce ideas, et cetera, off each other. But again, like what you just said, yeah, there's some guys who just prefer, hey, look, if I find a friend out here to run with, great. If I don't, I'm not going to want to commit to a team, because when you commit to a team, hey, I appreciate that, Kentucky man. When you commit to a team, like you said, you want to make sure the chemistry's there, but you also want to participate as a team. Everybody's schedules may be different sometimes. I'll use me as an example. When I raced, Caleb, I didn't want to commit to a team because I didn't know what my schedule was going to be like, and I didn't want to let that team down. And that's all about that's one of the things about being part of a team.
Yeah, and I the whole time thing and the scheduling, and I love endurance racing, but
Yes.
schedules never mesh up, and it just was never worth it for me. However, we are getting to 10 to go.
Nitty
and
gritty now. Now's
Yep.
when you're going to start with that team that you want to say, okay, let me put myself in position where a guy that I've been working with. I mean, you still see everybody in a freight train right now being very patient for 10 to go. Now, 10 to go at this track and 10 to go at maybe at tracks that we've had prior, 1.5 mile or so forth, is way different. I would say it's time to go, business is picking up, run what you run. Pretty much about 2 laps to go. Here's when you want to do that. The track is so darn big that you've got to make your way. But you can see Crank Bell right now cranking it up, and you can also see back there in the back, here comes Matthew Dyer. He is the leader. Actually, they're going around lap traffic. Excuse me, I thought that was Crank Bell for a moment. He's still pushing, though, the man there in the 95 to the outside. You can see Tyler Honeycutt has went a lap down with Jamie Horn. That's who they're passing right now. Tyler Honeycutt's going to want to probably hook to the back tail end of these guys and say, look, I'm going with the leaders. Just in case something wild happens, he can get back on that lead lap. They did not expect them to go a lap down, but you can start seeing, remember I talked about that textbook drafting earlier? They're closing the gap up now, because with that less than 10 to go, now it's go time. If you're back here around the 8th, 9th place spot, you've got to get on that draft. You don't want to lose it. It's time to get up to the front.
Absolutely, and one thing I will say, coming down to the final stretch, I would not want to be Matthew Dyer with the final 10 laps to go. There is no guarantee that you can stop every run that is about to come your way.
Yes.
From the inside to the outside, maybe all the way to the wall, 3 wide. You never know where these trucks are going to go.
Ooh, now they're getting jockeying up here. I was about to talk about Dustin Martin right there. That is a good job by Tyler Honeycutt. He understands the assignment. He says, look, now if Tyler Honeycutt was tucked behind the 35, that would be a different situation altogether. But with him being in the front, that is not what Dusty Martin wanted to have happen, was have the lap down truck in front. Tyler Honeycutt understood that. He knows that, look, I'm not going to be in this game plan for the win. These guys are. We're sitting up here with about 9 to go. You can see that outside trying to form up. They need to get hooked up together if they want to make a run to the front, because Matthew Dyer has his own set of team, man, down on the bottom there. He's got Crank Bell. He's got a couple other machines, the 79 of Jordan Trask, who, let's talk here for a second. Sitting where they are right now, if that high line comes into play, Jordan Trask is kind of trapped. He can't go low. He can't go high. He's just pretty much right there with the 14 machine of Crank Bell. You better hang on, guys, in front of me, because I'm going to start pushing for everything I got.
Yeah, and instead of running like 75% throttle, maybe it's time to pick it up to 85,
Yes.
90, somewhere in there, let him know that it's go time. And, you don't want to cause anything. You don't want to be the guy that causes the big one here at Talladega. That's a good way to get everyone to not like you.
Don't jinx it, because we ain't got
Yeah.
there yet.
Yeah, no, but like, all I'm saying, we got like 7 to go. 7,
Yeah, it
6 to
is.
go.
That's a little bit of a
So-
gap right there between Bell and the 79. And now Trax wants to close that gap in and keep up there because the high line, they have definitely. And look at that. That left the door open for Dustin Martin. He's going to take it to the inside. Meanwhile, I don't know why Altus is dropping back, though. This is not the time you want to go up high and do it unless Joshua Altus says, you know what, I don't need to win. Let these guys up here front battle it out. That might be his game plan. I don't want to get caught up in a mess.
Yeah, and he is locked in. But we were also talking about fuel earlier. I don't think that has anything to do with it. Because
Well, he
his
pitted
teammates
at lap
up there-
52. He should be fine. I think it's a case of he just, again, I know he wants to win. He's a competitor. Maybe he understands that, look, I'm going to let some of these other guys just have at it and then go up here. You see Chapman on the high side. He's storming to the front. He's got help up there with a 73. Caleb, right now, it's starting to get dicey. You can feel the tension rise as these guys are getting to the closing laps.
Yeah, and you got Wayne
To watch
Chapman trying
it.
to throw the
Oh.
block.
Ow.
Yeah, and he's trying to win this race. Uncharted
Yes, he
car. He is trying to make a name for himself. As someone.
Well,
would
right
say.
now, this is not what you want to see. The 73 machine there of Weimer. He has a lap down truck. At some point, Jeremy's going to have to say, all right, I don't have anything to gain up here, and he could get in the way. That 3 wide right there on the top side, that's kind of sketchy a little bit. I mean, Jeremy's trying to try to help the 21 there. Who was the 21 machine? Used to be
Justin
Chris.
Perry.
But
You said the 21 machine?
yeah, 21.
I think that's Carey. Justin Carey.
Carey. So, okay, Justin is there in himself. I mean, he can use Wimmer and himself. Now, it looks like Jeremy was able to get out of that pack up there in the front. Now you got all your top guys. Looks like no lap down machines in between them. Matthew Dyer still leading it. But I don't know. I'm like you. I don't know if I'd want to be safe up there. I mean, Crank Bell has been committed to push him so far. You got Dusty Martin right there along with him. Chapman's trying to get that high side going. He's got help with with Justin. Nathan Brown's there. You've got some heavy hitters, but here comes the outside. They're storming. Again, you don't have to pass them, Caleb. You just got to get that nose out front crossing that line.
Yeah, and Matthew Dyer, the leader right now. So he's 28 back from the cut line. This win, I would say he pretty much needs it. So right now he's doing it. As we have some cars peeling off the pit.
Oh boy, that's Crank Bell barking him. And I'm going to tell you what, I talked about it earlier. How close were they on fuel? Some of those guys that pitted at lap 48 and 49, like Lane Hoosler, Paul Turner, but they have dropped back to the back. Maybe that's what it is. Fuel here. I mean, we know Matthew Dyer's got enough to go the distance. He pitted at lap 52. There's no way he's coming into pit road. He's staying to the end of this one. Chapman pitted at lap 50. We'll have to see. But then you've got Jordan Trask, who pitted at lap 49. Now, as long as he stays tucked up where he's at, he's not using a lot of fuel. There again, will he still run out? We'll have to see. These guys, man, right now are playing it like a fiddle up front. You've got high side freight train, low side freight train. Caleb, this is where your nerves gets racked.
Yeah, my heart would be beating out of my chest right now, and generally it would be with about 5 to go, especially if I'm
Oh, the 79, though, Trask. Oh, Caleb, man, I'm with you, man. Right now is where I'd be biting at my fingers.
Yeah, no fingernails left. I would say, and you're all fighting for that
Just
top
watching,
spot.
just
And, in the
watching
wall.
all right now. Yeah, it went to the wall. I mean, that's pretty much taking up every real estate in the track. You can't pass below the yellow line. But a man in the middle there, he's got no help. Now he does the 6 machine. Meanwhile, Justin Carey storms to the front. Wayne Chapman is still trying there in second. Matthew Dyer, and it looks like Jordan Trask. We said it. I said it. Did he have enough fuel? No, he does not. And unfortunately, that's going to do it in for him tonight. So, the guys that pitted on lap 50, can they make it? Boy, it's going to be close because he pitted at lap 49 and was not able to make it. But the final lap, one more time here, this is going to be a good one. Who's got this thing?
It could. Let's see. The car in front, the 20, is not the leader.
No, he's
the
not.
Leader is
right now, Wayne Chapman is, Justin Carey is the leader in the 21. But we got a car wrecking. Yeah, I saw it back here in the back. We're going to stay with the front two here. Now, this helps Justin Carey out, but they're catching his back. This is going to be interesting coming to the line. Wayne Chapman's got to go through this pack here somehow. To the line, I think Justin Carey is going to pull this thing off. Chapman tried. Oh. Wow. I don't know what to say there. That's crazy.
There was so okay. Hang on. I was at a loss for words there, and that's.
We'll go back and watch one more time. Kind of break it down a little bit. We saw the crash back there. You see the two front trucks out there. They are not the leaders. They are lap machines. That is actually helping Justin Carey. Wayne's trying everything he can to try to get around. But Carey right now with the help and then just somehow modulates through that traffic.
Yeah, and it was very impressive the fact that these trucks did not wreck. And very respectful from the 3 and the 21.
We went flag to flag.
We did go flag to flag. Obviously, the 95 is not happy with the 3 truck. Hammered them going into the corner there.
What do you do? I mean, I don't know what he did wrong.
I don't either.
Let's go back and watch him one more time. We'll watch the final lap here. I mean, Chapman's trying to win this thing. So whatever Matthew Dyer is doing or thinking at this point, it's really irrelevant. You're coming off a 4. Chapman tries to go to the inside. He can't go down there because of lap cars. Doesn't have help upside. So maybe he's thinking, man, if Wayne would have stayed in line, they could have been able to shoot past the 21. I don't think so because I think the lap cars were just too bunched up there. I think that's really pretty much it. I think the lap cars were just too bunched up. I mean, all in all, great finish. I mean, it was a heck of a great finish. That was a heck of a race.
Oh, absolutely. And, this is a perfect race to cap off the regular season.
Yes.
I don't know the points off the top of my head. Math is.
Well, let's bring up Matthew Dyer and let's get a word with him.
Hey, Matt, you got me?
Yeah, I got you.
Hey, man. So, we first off, third place tonight. We seen you leading the pack for like the last 20-ish laps. I could. My math could be a little wrong. There was a lot going on there with the lap cars and everything. But, you were doing a very good job holding everyone off. And then a shift kind of happened. What exactly was going through your mind, and what happened?
I mean, my plan was just to push the pace. I knew I could make it to the end, and I was just trying to push the pace where people could, because I knew several people could not make it to the end. Unfortunately, the people that were pushing me dropped back, and then Chapman just got in front of me, and he was like a dump truck, and he would not go anywhere. That's kind of why I lost the front, because once he got in front of me, he just want to go. That's why Justin went past me, and why I finished third.
Yeah, I was going to also ask about that. We seen at the end of the race that you kind of bumped him, dented in his back end. So I was going to ask you about that, but you already answered it. you know, I don't really know the points. You were negative 28 coming in, so you really, I would say, needed the win. But we won't know the points until probably an hour. But you know, all in all, it was a good race. I know you wanted to win, but is there anyone you wanted to thank?
I mean, I definitely wanted to win. I think Josh and I played, the strategy perfect. We were able to stay out a lap or 2 laps longer than everyone else, and that allowed us to really push there at the end. And unfortunately, you have people who don't know how to drive, get in front of us. But overall, I'd like to thank you guys for broadcasting each week. I know it's not easy. Thanks to Chris and the admin team for putting it on, and for dealing with all of our hooligan shenanigans for every week. Huge shout out to I think it's Sports Academy is sponsored the league, so huge shout out to them for putting on, as well as Grant Designs. Huge shout out to Blitz Racing Network, Red Rhino Contracting, SMB Motorsports, Drop Top Froyo, and thanks for everyone for watching.
All right, man. Well, congrats on your 3rd place tonight. And we'll see you next week.
Thank you.
Well, there you go, Matt Dyer, man. He brought it home in seconds. Bring up old Wayne here. Or excuse me, Wayne, who brought him second here. Let's get a word with him.
Hey, Wayne, you got me? Hey, Wayne, you got me?
Cha.
All right. Let's bring up Justin while we wait.
Yeah, I'm bringing Justin right back. Wayne, we'll get back here to Wayne here in just a second. We'll bring up the winner of the race here tonight. Justin, Joanne Bush, got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Well, I'll tell you what, you was able to hang on up front there. Usually being out front's not the place you want to be, but I got to ask, I feel like maybe timing of those lap trucks might have helped a little bit there for draft-wise, but how was you feeling coming off of 4 with them being in front of?
To be dead honest, I didn't turn my relative on until, coming to the line, because I didn't know where I was. I didn't know.
Lead the race, man.
I thought, Grant and them, I thought they were on the lead lap, so I was going to start making my moves. I came off of 4. I'm in the lead. Lane's on my behind trying to get by me, so I'm like, I'm going to make this 4 miles wide and hold on, because I was coming low on fuel. I was like, please, let's just make it to the line.
Yeah, we talked about Jordan Trask, who pitted at lap 49. You pitted at lap 50. How close were you? Because if he was he had to come in. I would have said if it had been a green-white checker, do you think you'd have made it?
No, I would not have made it. So on that little cool down lap, I ran out.
Wow.
Right at the start-finish line. To come to do my burnouts, I ran out. I got a loop around of a burnout, and that's all I got.
Wow. Well, I'll tell you what, man. Sometimes, man, you just got to be in that right place, right time here tonight. You definitely had a fast machine to get it done. Put it in victory lane here, kind of like for the regular season finale race where we start to chase stuff. But good finish, good win. Got anybody you want to thank?
I'm first going to say thank you to my team, Jordan and Kyle. We worked together on this strategy all week. They kind of got held back off that first pit stop, and we kind of still stuck together. We still talked numbers the whole race because we knew the only way Oppie 22 is going to make to be racing for a championship is if one of us wins it. And so we're going playoff racing, and I'm so excited to be able to have my team and everybody who helps us. We get to just show off their sponsors and paint schemes, and I'm so excited to be able to be racing for a championship. So I was gonna have it at the start of the season, but due to coaching football, I couldn't come out with the whole little saying. But now that I've made the playoffs, I'm saying season 21 is for number 21. So we're coming for a championship now.
Well, there you go, man. You're winning it tonight. That's a good start to it. Again, congratulations on that win there, Justin.
Absolutely. Thank you guys, and thank you guys for broadcasting this.
There we go. Well, bring up this man here, Wayne, see if we can get a word back in with him.
Hey, Wayne, you got me?
Wayne Chapman, you're up here in the booth. Got us? I'll type out the thing here and see if he's.
Oh, so we'll give him some time. I know. After these plate races, I would generally walk around a little bit and then I would come back.
We'll show the results right fast while we're waiting on him to show up. But I mean, yeah, I don't walk around too much. It was a good race. I mean, we had a lot of, but everything here, flag to flag. That just shows you right there. We came off a bad track, bad race for the Clean Racing League last week. A lot of cautions involved in that one. To a racetrack that you would have thought, hey, they always state it's not if, it's when the big one would happen. To flag to flag. So again, I go back to being Clean Racing League here. Sometimes you have your good ones, sometimes you have your bad ones, but you're definitely interested. Check out cleanracingleague.com. See the results right there. I mean, 35 drivers come out here and do what we did here tonight. Outstanding showing. Wayne, be here.
I don't think he's here.
I don't think I should have said if he had a mic. Cause
We
but I'll tell you
we
what,
know.
if we can't get hold of him this week, we'll get hold of him maybe next week, and so forth so on. But Caleb, man, what a race it was tonight.
Yeah, I was I was expecting at least one big one, especially after coming off the race we had last week. You just like you said, you're expecting it to happen. It's not if but when. And I was expecting there to be a big one. Towards the end, I thought we were really going to get it because, you had a mixture of lap cars who were kind of, weaving in and out, and they were kind of, I wouldn't say getting in the way. They were definitely mixing themselves in. You definitely don't want to lose a lap just in case there is a caution. You want to get your lap back. But, everyone kept it clean, which is what we love to see in the Clean Racing League. That's why we're all here. That's why we enjoy this league so much, and everyone races in it. Um, you know, so I'm just it was a very good race to watch. You had the single file, but that's because people were trying to make it to the end. But it was a very exciting race to watch, and I really hope that every other plate race is like that from now on. This one kind of is the example going forward.
And we have had a couple ones in the past here. A few of them have been up and down, but that's just typical plate style racing. But folks, that'll set the field. Next week we start the chase. It's going to be interesting to see who can bring the championship home here at the Clean Racing League. Before myself and everyone, I hope you all have a good night and enjoyed that one.